Hi there, this is Dr. Maria Helt with Basmati.com, and our herb of the week this week is nettles, and I've talked about nettles before, Urtica, dioica, so the botanical name is Urtica is the first part, dioica, dioica, is the second part, nettles. And I've talked about the leaf before, and this time I'm actually going to talk about nettle root, which is a great tonic for the prostate gland, in fact, and it can be used as a long-term tonic for the prostate gland. And studies have actually found that nettle root is also beneficial for BPH, which is benign prostate hyperplasia. A majority of men, by the time they hit about 60 and up, are going to suffer from BPH. And some of the symptoms are things like urinary urgency, where all of a sudden you have to pee really bad and it's hard to hold it. But also urinary hesitancy, where you need to pee and you're trying to go, and it takes quite a bit of pushing to get that stream going. Another symptom, and this is coming from prostate swelling around the urethra, is breaks in the stream. So you're urinating and then it stops and then it starts, then it stops, then it starts. You might not be able to completely empty your bladder, or there might be some nocturia, which is a little bit of dribbling or leakage at night. So BPH is not fun, and it's benign, as the name suggests, meaning it's non-cancerous, but it can still be a real annoyance. And so nettle root has been used for quite a while traditionally for prostatitis, prostate swelling, and such. And there is more and more research being done on it. For instance, there's a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical study looking at BPH using nettle root, and it was found that there was actually significantly reduced irritation, a reduced incidence of urinary tract infections, which is another thing that can go along with BPH. And in fact, this root is commonly used by physicians in Europe, whereas it's virtually unheard of by physicians here in the U.S. And it's unfortunate because it can be a really useful ally for prostate health for men. There have been studies in rodents as well, more mechanistic studies looking at how this may inhibit prostate hyperplasia. And there have been studies in cell culture and in animal models showing that nettle root may even inhibit the proliferation of prostate cancer cells. Now, the suppressive effect that this has on prostate swelling and such may come from a variety of different effects. And so the herb in some studies was found to inhibit some enzymatic activity on prostate cell membranes, which suppresses growth, and some of the steroidal compounds in nettle root, such as campestrol, stigmasterol, and others, are seemingly responsible for that. And also, nettle root might inhibit hormonal binding to the prostate itself, which may help with a decreased symptom picture. There is evidence that nettle root might inhibit an enzyme known as 5-alpha reductase. And what 5-alpha reductase does is turns testosterone into a much more aggressive form called dihydrotestosterone. And it's that dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, that is linked with prostate swelling with BPH. And in fact, in women, DHT can lead to is associated with hyperandrogenation. Androgenization, I can't say that word, in women. So women that are exhibiting things like male pattern baldness, hirsutism, like beard hairs, mustache hairs, chest hairs, often this is associated in women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so this is an area where nettle root might also be helpful. So it's not just good for men, it might be useful for women dealing with DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. And also, hormonally speaking, nettle root has been found in studies to lower sex hormone binding globulin, which binds to hormones and carries them around the body, but it keeps them inactive. And so by reducing the level of this carrier, it actually increases the level of free testosterone in men, which can be helpful. And so we're talking about regular old testosterone, not that aggressive DHT here. Now, there's also evidence that nettle root acts as an aromatase inhibitor. And aromatase is an enzyme that turns testosterone into estrogen. In fact, that's where our estrogen comes from in women and men. It originates from testosterone. And so If aromatase is inhibited, estrogen levels will come down, and that can be helpful for men or women who have some estrogen excess going on. And this can also, for men, lead to higher testosterone levels. Now, Michael Moore, the late great herbalist, talks about nettle root for various types of viral infection, and he's used it, for instance, to suppress herpes outbreaks. And there is some data, at least in a lab, that nettle root might have some activity against a different type of herpes virus known as cytomegalovirus. So some antiviral effects there as well. There is work done in rodents showing that nettle root may have effects on cholesterol, so on blood lipids. It inhibits an enzyme known as HMG, CoA reductase, and so this is the same enzyme that is inhibited by statins. And I'm not going to get into statins and cholesterol right now. Suffice it to say that nettle root does seem to have some activity with respect to inhibiting that enzyme. And then I just want to come back to what I mentioned about women. There was a pretty small clinical trial done in about 40 women or so, where they used nettle root for women that had excess testosterone, excess DHEA going on. And when they were treated over time with nettle root, their free testosterone levels decreased. That means the testosterone not bound to that sex hormone binding globulin, that suitcase that carries it around the body. Total testosterone levels were decreased. DHEA levels were decreased. Their cycles were more regular. Their skin was less oily. They had less acne. And all of this from being treated with nettle root. And so a really handy herb, maybe not quite as well known in the States, especially outside of herbal circles, as it is known in Europe, but it's a plant to really get to know because the leaf, the seeds, the root, it's all medicine, very useful plant. And if you have a decent water supply, it's a pretty easy one to grow. And until next time, from Milo, where is he? Oh, he took off. Never mind. From Milo and I, be well.